Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're logging in. I'm Ami Kassar, your host, along with my co-host, Lynn Ozer, aka SBA Queen, and excited to have Deanna Walker, CEO of Venturity, on us. And Venturity is a fascinating story about a company that's a small giants company, part ESOP, Deanna Open Books Management. Deanna's been there for a long time and now is acting as the CEO of the company. So she certainly has an interesting story to share with us. And Deanna, thanks for being with us.
Oh, thank you. Happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear about ESOP. You know, part of what I do is teach the standard operating procedures of the Small Business Administration. And in 2018, there were laws that were changed concerning ESOPs, and the Small Business Administration was lobbied to do more ESOP loans. So in my entire 42-year career there, I worked with one ESOP. It's fascinating, but it's very, very complicated. So I'm so excited to hear your journey and how it happened, and I can't wait to learn all about it. So, where should we begin, Ami?
And why don't you start just telling us a little about what the company does and your background?
Okay, fabulous. Well, I love talking about our company because I came up through the business development rank. So I spent quite a long time doing that. I've been with Venturity since 2003. Prior to that, I had a banking and finance career. But we are a professional services firm, and we help companies, small, medium-sized companies, with all aspects of their back office accounting and finance needs. So everything from paying a bill to CFO advisory services.
And when you talk, just to be clear, because people think about small business can be very different things to different people. So who are your typical clients, just so we understand?
Sure. Our typical clients are folks that value good information. I'll start with that. They're privately held. They range anywhere from currently 20 to 300 million in revenue. We are doing a project right now for $1 billion company and had a couple of those, but really our sweet spot's going to be that 20 to 100 million in revenue on an ongoing basis for just becoming their back office accounting department.
Awesome. Okay.
Well, tell us a little bit about you and how you came to this role. Start out with, your entrepreneurial journey.
Well, I guess if you would have told me that I was going to be using my business development and my banking background to manifest itself through accounting services, I'm not sure I would have believed you in that realm, but it's turned out to really be a fantastic journey for me. So native Texan, and when I got out of school, went to work in investment banking and acquisition financing, and did that for about 10 years or so. Really enjoyed it. Got married, started a family, and for a few years stayed home. And talk about the power of meaningful connections. I still maintained a lot of my networking connections and relationships that I had when I was working. And one woman in particular, our journeys were very similar. We both had professional careers and then took some time to get married and have a family. And we were both looking to get back into the work world and didn't exactly quite know how to do that. And so we met to talk about it. And she was looking at a couple of different options, one of which was Venturity, and the other was a nonprofit. And we were having drinks and dinner one night when we snuck away, getting some time away from our family and our kids, and she was telling me about Venturity, and I just was very intrigued about the opportunity to work with companies to help them solve problems. And I was just really intrigued about the whole concept of outsourcing for privately held companies that we were working with, which was relatively new at the time. This was 2003.
Right.
I encouraged her to take the Venturity opportunity, which she did for a period of time, but she was going to do accounting and help them with business development. And then it just wasn't necessarily the right fit for her because her passion was nonprofit. So when she moved on, she called me and she said, they really have a real need. I know you had some interest in Venturity. And I said, I did, but I really don't want to do accounting. And she was like, no, why don't you just talk about it and be the business development person? So the rest is history. Got connected with Chris, our founder, and just really have been tapping into that passion ever since.
So business development is really your thing, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so when you started at Venturity and you were doing business development, was it already an ESOP corporation?
No, we've only been ESOP for about 3 years. So
Oh,
we definitely have had an evolution in our company.
what was your role in that? Oh, I'm sorry, Ami.
Go.
What was your role in the transformation to an ESOP?
Well, it started before the ESOP, honestly. I think one of the impacts that that I could say got us going was in about 2012, we made a purposeful effort to invest in our culture. And that's really where Small Giants comes into the picture. We got introduced to that organization and just really, it resonated with us. A lot of values alignment about investing in your people, doing the right thing. And that's when we really started to think about really being purposeful about our culture. From there, we got introduced to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Zingerman's and their focus on customer
Fingerman in
service.
Ann Arbor? Oh, sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So they have a training organization called Zing Train, and they were the ones that we brought in to help us with our core values and our mission, and just really define what the leaders in the organization had at the time in our heads. And we thought we were all aligned. I think relatively we were for the most part, but it's amazing when you put things down on paper and you get very purposeful about your words. And that was started in 2012, and that investment in culture and really resonating in not just putting it up on the wall, but disseminating it and living it every day started at that point.
How many
From
people
there-
were in the company at that time?
Gosh, okay, so I've been here a long time and the years start to run together. I
Yeah.
bet you we were about somewhere between, let's say, 20 and 30 people at that time. So we had those bumps where we were, 5 to 10, and then we went to 15, and then we went to 20. And so, and now for
Still
a
relatively
for-
small.
Yeah, still relatively small. So so it was kind of a big investment to make at that time, given our size. What that really turned into then was in 2017, we made the commitment to go open book management. And so we share our financials with our team members. We get them involved. We educate them on how they can make an impact in their company. And we get a lot of teasing in that regard because people are like, oh, you're accountants, you should know the numbers. And we definitely know how to do accounting. What our team members have learned now and are learning is to how to run a professional services company and how they can make an impact and all the levers that you can push and pull and turn to impact the bottom line. So that was building ownership mindset thinking. So it was a little bit of a natural progression then to evolve into to where we are today, which is the ESOP company, which the transaction occurred in 2020, I believe.
So was the CEO or the founder that you mentioned before, he's the one who sold the company to his employees?
Yes, he was the real driver behind the ESOP. So if you ask me a lot of technical questions, I'm getting up to speed now. He really did the structure and put a lot of that in place. But that was really sort of his just desire. He did not set out to be an entrepreneur and own an accounting services company. He's an accountant at heart, but what he was really passionate about, which is one of our core values, is lifelong learning. And he really wanted to have a company where people enjoyed coming to work every day, where they could grow professionally, serve as clients, but really invest in themselves. And so the idea of the ESOP and the continuation of our company is that we put it in the hands of the employees, and it's can be evergreen if we so choose, and they can carry on that mission, if you will.
Fascinating. So does the founder still own part of the company as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're 20% ESOP currently, and the plan is to become 100% over time. And so he's still the majority owner of our organization. I have some equity as well, and I did sell some of my equity into the ESOP too in 2020.
That's great.
But we're building it up.
It's very exciting.
So yeah, let's go back a minute. Can you explain to everyone what Small Giants is? Because a lot of people don't.
It's a fantastic organization. I love to plug it. In fact, we just had 3 people get back from their annual conference. It has its kind of, I guess, beginnings in a book that was written by Bo Burlingham about the concept of companies don't have to be big. They can be great by putting their people first and being mindful of their financial situation and giving back in the community. And so the idea is you really invest in having a solid company and you commit to that and the rest will come. So it's not growth for just growth's sake, it's growth in the right kind of way and really rooted in starting with your team. And it's just gotten a lot of traction over the years. What we really love about the organization is the companies that invest and belong to it. And it's all sizes and all industries. It's really driven out of that passion to have some really solid core values. Is you can tap into any one of those companies and they're willing to share and not willing to just share the good. They're willing to share the bad, the ugly, how they dealt with something that was challenging. People are very, and leaders and company members are really open to being vulnerable about their experiences. So it's a very safe place to share experiences, both good and bad, and grow and learn.
Fascinating. It's great.
And so you went from there, and now talk about the transition, if you can, to open book management.
Well, that was a really interesting one, because think about, we had a founder who started a company and he had a partner originally and that partner moved on. And then there were a couple of us that, invested after that fact, but everything was very closely held, for a very long period of time. But what we recognized and realized is that when you're in the people business, which is what we are, we do accounting, but we're in the people business, it's our greatest and most important asset. And so involving people and having them be committed and being able to really understand where they can make an impact is very, important to the success and the financial health of the overall company. If we don't have our people, we can't serve our clients appropriately. And so we tried a whole host of different things after we got used to the idea of just allowing for sharing information. So that took a little while to do that. And it wasn't because we didn't want to share. It was out of the fear of, hey, if we share information, we don't have all the answers. That's a vulnerable place to be as leaders, right? So we had to get through that first. We tried a whole host of different profit sharing type of things that we put in place, but they were individual, like this team. If this team reaches certain goals, then this team would be rewarded. And it was teams within our entire organization. And what really, when we found, and we practiced through a system called the Great Game of Business. And there's others out there, but it's been a very a good system for us to really learn and use as our platform for open book management. But the big thing that GTOB taught us was that, if we're all in this together, that, all boats will rise. And so our reward system and the way that we move forward is collectively winning together and also getting everybody involved in it because people support what they help create. And so that was the big catalyst that really we were able to find a great amount of success using this system versus some of the other profit sharing systems that we had tried prior to that.
Really interesting. So the profit sharing came into place before you did all this. So everyone was really aligned at the time. And
we thought they would be, right? but say, like an example is you've got one team and they're really doing well and hitting their marks. They may continue to be energized to do that. If another team is far off from that, then they're like, oh, if I can't reach that, then, they're just not as incentivized to do it. And while they can control a lot of things, we're bringing in deals, we're figuring out which team gets which deal. A lot of times I'd be so excited to bring in a new client, but then I'd have to go tell a team that they were getting a new client, which meant for them more work, right? And so we really needed to figure out a way to get everybody aligned. Now, when new clients come in, there'll be teams that'll be like, oh, can we have that one? I really like what that company does. It's just a completely different mindset. And our teams that on the delivery side, they understand where clients come from now. They're not responsible for finding them, but they understand what goes into finding them. On the business development side, we understand what it takes to service a client in the right kind of way, which helps us be mindful, or the team and then business development side, be mindful of bringing in the right types of clients. So it's really nice to have those conversations and communication, and then see the rewards of the efforts of figuring out how to put that all together.
Awesome.
And it gives everyone in the organization a real sense of all the parts and how they work together, and more respect for the other players in the team and what it actually takes to put a product in the hands of a client. It's very interesting.
Absolutely. It really does. I think you hit the nail on the head, and it gives everyone a sense of purpose for why they're coming here every day, and how they can make an impact. And for me, it's really exciting to see people grow in that way.
Yeah, it is. It's really interesting.
Yeah,
So
are you a virtual company, or is everyone mostly based in Dallas?
Everyone is mostly based in Dallas. Our offshore team is in India. We've got one person who works remotely for us. So that individual had been with us for 10 years and moved away for family reasons. And so he's continued to be a part of the team. But for the most part, we're based here out of Dallas. We serve clients all over the country, but we do have office, and we have a hybrid situation currently. So while we want to offer folks the flexibility to be able to have some time to do other things, we do get together in the office 3 days a week together.
Oh, so everybody comes to the office at the same time. Oh, that's
Yes.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
And Fridays actually are our most exciting days, because that's when we huddle and do our financial huddles. That's when we have staff meetings and feed our team every other week. So Fridays is a really fun day around here.
So Fridays, I guess, is one of the 3 days everyone comes in.
Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay, so there's not a 5-day weekend, a 4-day weekend.
No, well, I mean, you Monday is a work from anywhere day. So
Right.
yes, you.
The 3-day weekend.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, now you're in a pretty competitive industry. Accounting, CFO, bookkeeping type services. How do you differentiate yourself?
Well, I think a lot of things we just talked about is a real differentiator, because when our folks have the opportunity to really live and get a feel for what it's like to be a business owner. I mean, as an ESOP company, they own part of our company, so we're instilling ownership mindset, and so by giving them that direct experience and involvement with open book management, I think they get a really great feel to put themselves in the shoes of the companies that they're working for. And so it allows them to be a better partner. I think the other thing, and it goes back to Chris's passion for lifelong learning, we invest a lot in training our people. So we have a dedicated trainer that resides within our organization, who is making sure that we're constantly staying up and training our team members and bringing the latest and greatest opportunities to the table. And it's not just in the area of accounting. I mean, we're continuing to make sure our folks are the very best at accounting, but we teach them soft skills as well. We've done emotional intelligence training. We train them on a 30-second commercial in their elevator pitch, even though they're not expected to be out in the marketplace selling, but just to give them all those tools, which, to your point, Lynn, is another way to expose everybody to all aspects of our company. And I really feel that's very unique, that we take the time to do that for our people.
I think elevator pitch, the 30-second elevator pitch, is important for everyone, because even if you're not a business development person, people have lives and they network with different people, and you never know who they're going to meet in their world that may need the services of the company you work for. And I don't care whether you're the one who takes the trash out. It is important that they understand what the business is and can express it in words. I mean, I know, like, not that it matters, but when people ask me what my children do, I could tell you everything my son does. I can't tell you one thing my daughter does. So I could never help her to find people. And I know lots of people. I couldn't help her get business because I can't explain what it is she does. I mean,
What does she do, Lynn?
You're kidding, right? She works for American Express, so everyone knows what that is. Oh, they go credit cards, but that's not what she does. She's the only word I know in her title is strategy. So I don't know what she does, but you know, I can't help her. Whereas my son is in investment banking and he does exactly what I do with 9 or 12 more zeros. That's all.
Right. That's a great way to put that.
Yeah.
Jenna, what are some of the biggest challenges you face in your business today?
I think that like a lot of folks, and this really has existed for us for quite a long time, is resources. And making sure that we're hiring the right type of folks for our organization. Accountants are hard to come by. It's no secret, and less and less folks are getting into that space in college, and less people want to do that. And so we, in addition to looking for accountants, we're looking for accountants that really fit our culture and have values alignment and want to invest in all the things that we're talking about, be in front of clients, learn elevator pitches, not just go into a room and do accounting, which is super important, but we bring a lot more to the table for our clients than that. And so finding the right type of folks, an environment that already is constrained in terms of, the pool of resources continues to be a challenge, but it has been helpful, all the things that we bring to the table. We also now have a dedicated recruiter inside our organization. So at one point in time, we had recruiting and training all in one person, and it's been super helpful to take and to buy those roles into two.
What
And
do
so
they
do
do?
you
I
think
mean,
about, I'm sorry, do you
I'm
think,
just thinking about accountants. I mean, they have to be certified if you are, I don't know if you're CPAs or not, but I mean, there's such a specific skill set that you need. I can't imagine. I mean, I was an accounting major in college and never worked as an accountant, by the way, because
Right. I have
there
accounting
were
too,
too
but you
many
heard
of
me
them.
from the beginning. I was like, I don't want to do accounting. I love to talk about it, but I don't want to do it. I said, right? But
There's
we have
too
people
many
who
accountants.
love that. Yeah.
There were
yeah,
too
as
many
you,
accountants. Now there's just a shortage. How did how do you recruit, or how do you attract, or do you have to start younger than before they go to college so that they start becoming accountants in
Well,
college?
yeah, there's been talk of that, no question. I wish I could tell you that we have a program for that, but we have had conversations about that. No question about how, just getting folks younger and helping them to understand and see if there's, spark that interest, if you will.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we are just constantly looking for great people, which is another reason why it's important for our team members to be knowledgeable about our company, because they bring folks to the table as well. So we have a
Right.
referral program for
Right.
our team members if they bring people to the table. When we're out networking for new opportunities, we're always mindful. A lot of our marketing efforts are not just towards new relationships and new customers, they're towards new people. So we use social media for that as well. If you follow us on LinkedIn, you'll see that, we're talking a lot about what it's like to work here, and we get testimonials from our team members about why they enjoy it. So those types of things also help and support our recruiting efforts. And then the fact that we have somebody who's in-house full-time, has learned our culture, knows our voice, who gets up every single day looking for people has been helpful. We've been pretty successful this spring in attracting and retaining some good folks. So, while it's still a challenge, I think we've experienced some really great results here of late.
That's great. Lots of victories.
how do people find out about your company?
Well, situations like
Social
this, I think it's
social
great, but
media.
really at our core, we're a referral-based selling organization. And so we spend a lot of time out in the market, developing relationships with referral partners, folks that have the trusted ear to the clients that we want to work with. So whether it's CPA firms, which is, people be like, oh, that may be unique. It's not necessarily, there's things that we do that they can't do or don't want to do. And so, but they have that trusted ear to the decision maker. Investment bankers, lawyers, commercial bankers. If someone's trying to get a loan and the banker can't make heads or tails of their, as you guys know, of their information, we'll oftentimes get brought into a situation private equity firms that are either looking at companies and want to know what they're buying. We can come in and help with that with an assessment, or post transaction of, hey, what did we buy? We need some upgraded reporting and processes, and we can come in and assist with that as well.
Got it.
So we spend a
Ami's
lot
been
of time with
talking-
those types of folks. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Lynn.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I was just saying, Ami's been talking a lot, it seems to me, on our podcasts about the importance of good numbers and good data, and that's at the core of all small business growth. And